5 Stars by GameDay 1 is brought to you by Veolia. Visit VeoliaNorthAmerica.com to find ways to conserve water and save money in their rebate program.
Championship weekend in Section 1 football is complete. 5 teams, crowned champions, moving on to the state tournament. And we honor some of those players from our week that was just incredible at Mahopac High School with our 5 stars. We're going to cheat a little bit this week. Our 5 stars brought to you by Veolia. I want to thank them for their season-long partnership and all that they do for Section 1 athletics, and also especially what they do for us here at GameDay 1. But we're going to do 2 5 stars this week, a 5 stars of offense and a 5 stars of defense, because if you look at all 5 teams that won this weekend, they all kind of did it more with defense than they did with offense. But the offense gets all the attention, so start with those guys first. Our first 5 star, we'll start with our Tuckahoe combo, which is Conor Bryce, man. I mean, what more can you say? He scored 5 touchdowns in the first game of the season against Chester, who ended up being the Section 9 Class C champions. He breaks his hand, and then we didn't get to see him all season. A lot of people didn't even see the highlights from that first game. Here he comes out on the field at Mahopac, and we know he's coming back. He's coming back from, as we said, a broken thumb. And first drive of the game, you're like, whoa, who is this kid? If you didn't know who he was so good, so dynamic. And honestly, you could make a case that he was maybe the most dynamic player of any of the 5 teams that won section championships this weekend. He was right there with anybody. And Conor Bryce does it on the ground, running for 139 yards and 2 touchdowns on 14 carries. It's quite a couple carries late in the game where he probably should have just tucked it or thrown it away. So his numbers rushing were he was over 10 yards per carry for most of the game. He also completed 5 of 7 passes for 83 yards and just led Tuckahoe up and down the field, 28-0 victory. Our next 5 star, our 5 star on defense this time for Tuckahoe. Again, they won 28-0 over Haldane. The defense was terrific. Really, a lot of guys, but we'll focus on 2 guys. Thaddeus Carrillo, one of my favorite players that I talked to in the preseason at Mahopac, talking about what it was going to mean to get back to Mahopac, to beat Haldane. Well, he does it, and he has a monster effort on defense. He had 9 tackles and a sack. Matt Gardier led the team with 12 tackles. Really, you can go Jerry Casson, all up and down this whole team, how good they were defensively. And Tuckahoe is back as your Section 1 Class D champions. Our next team, winning their 4 times in a row. Our next 5 star goes on offense. We'll go to Miguel Glacius of Somers. In this big Rye-Somers matchup, so much anticipation, so much hype. It was the quarterback of Somers who proved to be the difference in the end. And really, how did he do it? All season long, put up 200 yards, 250 yards passing. He did it as a runner. And some of the people I spoke to going into this game, they felt that Somers' best chance was to put the football in the hands of their athlete, their best athlete, who is Miguel Glacius, a Notre Dame-bound lacrosse player, and let him lead them, and he did it with his legs. He runs for 123 yards. He runs for 3 touchdowns on 17 carries, and just every time they needed a big play, they had a scoring drive to tie the game to start the third quarter, helping convert on a couple of those third down and longs. He does so, and he leads them. He only completed 2 passes, one of which was a touchdown pass to the sophomore star. Keep this name, Cameron Violante. He was really good, and he has come on strong in the postseason. So that is our offensive player in our 5 stars for Somers. Our defensive player really could go anywhere. This defense, from what they did after falling behind 14-7 at halftime, the way they played in the second half was just absolutely stellar. And the touchdown they gave up probably shouldn't have even counted in the fourth quarter. I'm going to give it to Brett Kennedy because he has been so good for them all season long. Had a pick 6 in this game. He was really in the backfield, and he disrupted this running game. You know, obviously Rye wanted to pound the football in this contest, and that really called on Brett Kennedy to have a big game at linebacker. He does. He helps lead Somers, as we said, to a 4th straight Section 1 championship. Next team in our 5 stars. We go to Valhalla offense, Tyler Ratty. I mean, who was better than him for the Vikings? Luke Foyset was close, but Tyler Ratty gets 3 touchdowns, 2 on the ground, 1 through the air, leading Valhalla to the first section championship since 2019. 120 yards rushing on 10 carries. Tyler Ratty, just terrific, leading the Vikings to that title. On defense, go a lot of different ways in this one. Brady Teeter was great. I'm going to say Luca Cavallo because Luca Cavallo really made so many big plays in the second half to just completely shut down Dobbs. You know, he got to the quarterback. He was up on the running backs. He was just Luca Cavallo. I mean, after basically not calling his name at all in the first quarter, I basically called it the entire rest of the game. So Cavallo is our next 5 star for the Vikings. Our next 5 star, go to the offense for Arsley. You know, Amity Delcine had a great game, but Lucas Kaplan at quarterback, He helped put them into the top, over the top, and to win this championship. He runs for 2 touchdowns, only 73 yards on 15 carries, but so many tough yards. They go this full house formation, no receivers. He takes one step to the right and just follows his blocks, and he does it exceptionally well. He did it in a big way, leading Arsley to a 3rd revenge game victory in the postseason. All 3 teams they lost to in the regular season are the teams they beat to win the Section 1 championship in Class B, which is truly remarkable in that win over Pleasantville. Our defensive player, we talked about the Wildcat for the Panthers and how was Arsley going to stop it. One of the amazing things in this game was Justin Reaper. So he is our next 5-star. Justin Reaper made so many tackles from the other side. They had such a hard time. Pleasantville had such a hard time accounting for him because of all the movement running this Wildcat. And when Louis Sadal was trying to pick his lane, he had no idea that Reaper was just coming down the far end, the opposite side, to bring him down. And Reaper was the best of the defensive players for this Arsley team. As I said, they just stunningly win the Class B championship. And our final 5 stars in Class AA, Jaquan Johnson. I mean, who was better this whole weekend in terms of what he did and when it mattered most? In the 4th quarter, running for 2 touchdowns to take North Rockland from trailing Mamaroneck 14-3 going into the 4th to winning 17-14. Ran for 160 yards on 24 carries. His 2 touchdowns now give him 24 touchdowns on the season, making a very strong case for himself to be Section 1's Player of the Year. And it's really after that 4th quarter, put that on tape. It's going to be hard to beat that one. Defensively, North Rockland's defense was just so good against this read option team that Mamaroneck is. But we'll give it to Noah Kukulchak, North Rockland linebacker. 11 tackles, 2 tackles for loss. He had a key sack in this game. He was in the backfield the entire day. When Mamaroneck realized they couldn't run the football effectively between the tackles, they tried to put the ball down in the air, and Kukulchak was disruptive there. 3 hurries of the quarterback. But the biggest play of the game comes with North Rockland trailing 14-10 in the 4th quarter. Mamaroneck going to punt the ball away, and Kukulchak comes up and blocks it into midfield, gave them a short field to work with. 5 plays later, Jaquan Johnson running into the end zone, scoring the go-ahead touchdown, and proving to be the championship deciding score. Those are our 5 stars from our championship weekend. We have a lot of previews ahead. We're going to preview all 5 teams as they go into the New York State tournament. We're also going to take a look at Iona Prep as they take on St. Anthony's for the CHSFL AA Championship on Saturday. Thanks for following all season. Now we move on as the quest for a state title begins for these teams.